trunk was open on my sister's table, dust on my fingers, ink smell in the air.
"Grandma, don't say his name out loud. He keeps calling. He sounds nice, but it's not nice."
My phone buzzed again, bright and relentless. Unknown number, then another.
"If he finds me, I'm done. I can feel it."
I stared at the journals like they could answer back, and that's when I knew the truth. This wasn't just a bad marriage. This was a system. Let me go back, start from the beginning. I found my granddaughter at dawn. Graywater Marina was empty and cruel. Winter wind off the Pacific cut through my coat. The sky was colorless, like ash. Her car sat crooked in the gravel lot, driver door half open, like someone left in a hurry. And there she was beside it, folded on the ground like a dropped doll. Blonde hair matted with blood, one arm bent at a stomach-turning angle. I hit my knees in wet gravel. My hands shook so hard I couldn't trust them. I found her pulse, thin, but there. "Lila," I whispered. "Baby, stay with me." Her eyelids fluttered. Her eyes didn't focus. Waves slapped the docks behind us. A buoy bell clanged like a warning. I leaned in close to her mouth. "Grandma, it was Elliot. He said, we don't belong. He said his family paid for it." Her breath hitched, then slipped away. Her body went heavy in my arms. I screamed until my throat burned raw. A fisherman in rubber boots heard me. He ran, stumbling on slick boards. He called emergency services with shaking hands. Sirens swallowed the wind. I held her hand and felt something change. Not breaking, hardening, turning into steel. My name is Marjorie Keene. I'm 69. I've cleaned other people's homes for 41 years. In Brackenport, where money has its own weather. I raised my kids after my husband died early. I learned what it means to be invisible. Rich people look through you like glass. They confess in front of you like you're furniture. But furniture doesn't forget. Lila survived the first night. That's what the doctor said. Like we'd crossed a bridge in the dark. Broken arm, cracked ribs, concussion that made her eyes swim, internal bleeding that kept nurses moving fast, hypothermia from that exposed marina lot. 20 more minutes, the doctor told me, and we'd be saying goodbye. My daughter Claire flew in the same day. City clothes, haunted face, hands that wouldn't stop trembling. We took turns at Lila's bedside. Machines beeped like a metronome for fear. On day 2, Detective Kellen Price came, late 40s, sharp eyes that didn't blink at money. He pulled me into the hallway. The air smelled like disinfectant and burnt coffee. "Mrs. Keene," he said. She said a name. "Elliot." My jaw locked. "That's her husband," I said. "Elliot Harrowell." The detective's expression shifted by 1 degree, like a door closing quietly. Everyone knew the Harrowells. They owned half the cliffside, their names set on plaques in public buildings. Their donations bought silence like groceries. Detective Price said he'd need to question Elliot. I said good luck. 6 hours later, Elliot arrived with attorneys. 2 of them, like shadows stitched to his suit. I saw him through the waiting room glass. Perfect hair, perfect posture, a watch that caught fluorescent light and flashed. He looked worried in that distant way, the way people look when they're performing concern. Here's what made me sick. He never once tried to get past those lawyers to see her. He just watched, like he was checking whether the problem was still breathing. 3 days later, Lila woke up, and the first thing she said was my name. The second thing she did was cry. She couldn't remember leaving work. She couldn't remember the marina. Her memory ended at sunset, like a clean cut. The doctor called it common with head trauma. Police found her keys in her pocket. No broken glass. No obvious struggle in the car. Just her injuries, screaming what she couldn't recall. Elliot claimed he'd been at a business dinner in Seastone City, under an hour away. Witnesses confirmed. The timeline was tight, but possible. Tight enough to make my skin crawl. Without Lila's memory, the case turned into fog.
Claire wanted to take Lila away immediately. Back to the city. Away from that Cliff House. Away from the Harrowell name. But Lila clung to normal like it was oxygen.
He's my husband. I don't remember saying that, Grandma. I was confused. Elliot loves me.
Those words cracked my heart in two, because I heard what she was really saying. Please make it safe again. I couldn't. Not after that whisper at dawn. Paid for it. A few days after discharge, I went to see my sister June. Same old house we grew up in. Salt-stained windows, sagging porch. June answered with dirt on her hands from the garden. I heard about Lila, she said. How is she alive? I didn't answer that part. I asked what mattered. Do you remember what Mom said about the Harrowells? About Gideon's father, Silas? June froze. The kind of freeze that means a memory just bit you. The journals, she whispered. You're thinking about the journals. I nodded once. June swallowed hard. Mom said secrets die with us, she said, unless there's no other choice. I said, there's no other choice. We climbed into the attic. Dust rose in slow spirals. Even in winter, the attic felt hot. June pulled out an old trunk. Scuffed corners. Rusted clasp. Heavy like regret. Inside were journals wrapped in cloth. 17 of them. Decades and meat handwriting. Our mother started cleaning for the Harrowells in the late 60s. She worked through Silas Harrowell's rise, through accidents that always paid out, through partners who suddenly vanished. She recorded dates. Names. Copies of letters pulled from trash, receipts that shouldn't exist anymore. I started reading that night, one lamp, one cup of cold tea, and pages that made my blood go colder. But I told myself one thing, don't panic yet. Panic wastes time. Then my phone lit up again. Elliot. Voicemail. Marjorie, it's Elliot. I'm worried about Lila. Please call me back. We can handle this privately. His voice was smooth, reasonable. That word again, privately. Like truth is a stain you scrub out. The next morning, I drove to Lila's house on the cliffs. Glass and steel. More statement than shelter. Lila met me at the kitchen island, cast on her arm, bruises fading from purple to sick yellow. She looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. I'm remembering pieces. The doctor said it could happen. It's like flashes, and one flash feels wrong. My stomach tightened. Tell me, I said. We fought that night. Elliot called and said his father wanted a private call. He told me to meet him at the marina. He said it was important. He said it was about our future. And that's when I noticed her hands, shaking, even when she tried to hide it. She wasn't defending Elliot anymore. She was bracing for what she already knew.
When I got there, Gideon was there too. And Gideon didn't talk like a father-in-law. He talked like a buyer.
My fingers dug into the edge of the counter.
He said they made a mistake letting Elliot marry me. He said they looked into my family. Mom's money problems. Your job. Everything. He called us bad stock.
There it was. The word that strips you down to less than human. Bad stock.
Elliot didn't stop him. He just stood there, like he was waiting for instructions. I didn't breathe. Not fully. I was afraid breathing would make it real. Gideon offered me money to disappear. A check already prepared, papers already drafted. He wanted me to sign that I misrepresented myself. He wanted me gone quietly. And you said I asked. I said no. I told him to go to hell. I said if Elliot wanted divorce, he could ask like an adult. I turned toward my car, and then I felt a hit.
Back of my head, hard, and I heard Gideon say something. Not to me, to Elliot.
What did he say? I asked. My voice sounded too calm.
I can't. Not the exact words, but it was an order, like he was telling him to end it.
My blood went ice cold anyway. Did you tell Detective Price? I asked.
I tried. He said without evidence, it's my word against theirs. Elliot's lawyer says I'm confused from the concussion, and Gideon has everyone in his pocket.
She looked at the glass wall facing the sea, like the ocean could swallow the whole problem. I leaned in. You're leaving, I said. Today. He won't let me. He doesn't get to decide. Pack a bag right now. While he's at work. If he finds out, he will. That's why we move first. Leela went upstairs, shaking. Drawers opened and closed like quick breaths. I stared at the journals in my mind. Then I made calls with steady hands. Claire first. June 2nd. Then Nadia Reyes, the lawyer who never talked down to me. Nadia listened without interrupting. Then she said it plainly. Marjorie, this is attempted murder. And conspiracy. But you're right about their reach. I said, what if I have proof of a pattern? Decades. Not rumors. Documents.
What if they come after you? What if I made it worse?
You didn't make it worse, I said. They did. Nadia came to June's house that night. We spread the journals across the dining table. Nadia photographed pages, built timelines, matched dates to old local headlines. This is extraordinary, she kept saying. Your mother documented a long-running enterprise. I asked what that meant in real language. Nadia said racketeering statutes, financial crimes, bribery, obstruction, and worse. I asked how long it would take. Nadia exhaled. Federal investigations move slow. Months, sometimes years. I saw Lila's bruised face in my mind. She doesn't have years, I said. Nadia looked at the journals again, then at me. There may be a faster path, she said. Leverage. 2 days later, Nadia called back. The Harrowell Investment Company was already on a watch list.
Suspected fraud, shady deals, missing transparency. Nadia said they never had enough to open doors. Your mother's records change that, and Lila's testimony connects past to present. They can force a meeting. Lila was already in Claire's apartment by then. Safe, curtains drawn, phone off, and still, her fear leaked into every breath.
He left me another voicemail. Same calm voice, but this time he sounded irritated, like I owed him my body back.
What did he say? I asked.
Lila, you're sick.
Your grandmother is confusing you. We can fix this if you cooperate. Cooperate. Another clean word with teeth inside it. The meeting was scheduled for the next week. Mid-morning at a federal building in Seastone City. Gray walls, bright lights that showed every twitch. Nadia and I sat behind one-way glass. The investigator was Agent Talia Kim. Calm voice, eyes like sharpened stone. Gideon arrived first with 3 attorneys. Suit sharp enough to cut. Winter tan like the cold didn't apply to him. He looked annoyed to be summoned. Elliot arrived separately with 1 attorney. When he saw his father, his face tightened. Not love, fear. Agent Kim started with paper. Photos, bank records, letters from the journals. Gideon's lawyer tried to talk fast. Agent Kim raised 1 hand. Silence snapped into place. She laid out decades of misconduct. Fraud, bribery, obstruction, accidents that didn't feel accidental when stacked. Then she brought up Lila. She stated it cleanly. conspiracy to murder, an attempted killing after a coercive payoff offer. Gideon finally spoke, cold and offended. He said it was absurd. He said his lawyers would end it. Agent Kim didn't blink. She outlined subpoenas, forensic accountants, interviews with former employees, the kind who'd been invisible. Gideon asked if she was threatening him. Agent Kim said she was offering a choice. Elliot pleads guilty to attempted murder, real prison time. Gideon cooperates on the financial investigation. In exchange, certain historical material remains sealed unless needed. The air conditioner hummed like a saw. Gideon demanded to review the journals. Agent Kim said they'd been authenticated, and yes, he could review them right there. Hours passed. Lawyers flipped pages with careful hands. Nadia slid corroborating clippings across the table. Old articles, court filings that mysteriously ended, property transfers right after a death, patterns that don't lie. I watched Gideon through the glass. The arrogance leaked out of him. He started to look like an aging man. Elliot barely spoke. At one point he asked, quiet, "How did you get this?" Agent Kim answered with the calmest cruelty. "The people you ignore have eyes. The people you dismiss have memory. And some of them have patience." In the end, they accepted the deal. Elliot pled guilty to attempted murder and aggravated assault. He received 17 years, parole eligibility after 11. Gideon cooperated with the financial investigation. The Harrowell Investment Company collapsed under scrutiny. Tens of millions in fines and restitution. The flagship business sold, proceeds distributed to harmed investors. Their shining family image cracked in public anyway, because present truth spreads faster than old secrets. Lila filed for divorce before sentencing. She did it with shaking hands and steady eyes. I keep hearing that marina wind. Sometimes I wake up choking on it, but I'm alive, Grandma, and I'm not his anymore. She moved into a smaller place with warm lamps. She took a job at a marine conservation nonprofit, work that made her feel clean again. Therapy became routine. Nightmares became less frequent. Trust came back slowly, like a tide you don't force. On the first anniversary of that dawn, June and I made a decision. We had our mother's journals professionally archived. Not for gossip, for record, for proof that invisible doesn't mean powerless. People asked me if I felt guilty for ruining the Harrowells, for taking their wealth, their reputation, their comfort, for sending Elliot to prison. I told them no. The Harrowells made their choice first, when they decided Lila's life was negotiable. When they called us bad stock, when they thought they could erase her like a clerical error, they forgot one simple thing. Errors can be corrected, and sometimes the correction comes from hands you never noticed. I still clean houses sometimes, not because I need the money, because routine steadies my mind, because I like walking through perfect rooms knowing the truth. I see everything, I remember everything, and I matter more than anyone suspects. So if you ever feel unseen, good, use it. Let them talk. Let them slip. Keep your proof. Keep your patience. Because the truth is the strongest weapon in the world. It just takes time to load. And when it's loaded, it doesn't miss.